You're listening for like music.
Oh, there's wire there.
I would only keep one in. I don't know. You only supposed to have one.
Hopefully you get something. I actually changed the sensitivity on there. I moved it down a little bit this morning just because it seems like you're getting a lot more than what, a lot of spaces. We're going to see how that works as we move through all these different locations. So we're actually stopped over here. I normally take you into the lot behind me, but I don't like to interrupt the police work when it's going on. So I like to make you guys feel like you're sneaking around the city, which is exactly what we're going to do. But anyway, we're here because of the big red barn. This is just a simple explanation for the rest of your devices. So here's how it goes. This is where we keep some of the horses for your carriage rides, right? So the history here is really simple. So this is the same red barn that held horses that deliver milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So keywords here are going to be delivery, milk, eggs, anything relative to a stable, and you guys are getting the point. So we got all these communication devices out here. What's the first question everybody wants to ask a Ouija board or a spirit box when they get one?
Anyone there?
Perfect. That's exactly what I'm looking for. So let's say you ask that question, hey, is anybody here? And Jackson hears the answer no. That means somebody's here. You guys getting my point? Somebody answered, right? So we're not going to be going after yes-no questions all night long. There's no such thing as paranormal proof with a yes or a no. If I hear yes-no questions coming out of you, I will correct you. I'm an English major and I'm good at it. So I'm just going to put it out there. So we ask questions that we kind of already know the answers to, but want to solidify and verify what's going on. So if somebody's here, tell me what color a big red barn is. Obviously, we are looking and listening for the color red. So again, you guys are getting the point. Those of you with earbuds and using the radio stations to convey messages back to us, the word red might not be available to that song lyric or DJ. Fire truck, blood, heart. Those three things are specifically red, and I would take that as possibly being paranormal. I normally require that there's at least two things happening before I even come close to calling something paranormal. Let's do another quick example. Why am I forgetting your name now? You're Danielle? Okay, all right. Let's say Danielle's Ouija board spells out the word art. That doesn't mean anything to us over here by itself. But then Bobby actually hears the number 40 coming out of his spirit box. Put them together, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. You see where this is like going to be more like an escape room? Mm-hmm. And instead of just a normal tour and walking around the city? So again, that's how we're going to actually operate all night long. So now that you guys have a better gist of how the communication pieces are going to work, let's talk cameras. All three cameras, all four cameras tonight, I want you guys to be very still when you're actually recording. The more still you are, the better, the easier it's going to be to find something. I'm just going to put it out there. So it's almost like just find a spot and remain still and do slow cams back and forth. We don't need the Blair Witch Project all over again. That was a bad movie, and we don't need it. We're not out here to recreate that. So with yours, Rich, I want you to basically look for two things. I know I said don't film people, but try to keep one of us in view at all times. Okay. We're the warmest thing out here, which is why I make that joke at the beginning. The other thing is to keep the sky out of view. The reason for that is the blue dot. There's no surface. It's going to automatically default to the sky every single time if it's in view. So it's going to be impossible in some areas. Just do your best. Okay. The other two, again, slower the pans. If you see something, obviously you're going to see where I'm going to be bouncing around with everybody. So again, with those two, these two particular cameras, I don't always follow up with in real time. It's normally about communication in real time. I'm more interested in getting the review from your work while we're out here while I'm going through it in the morning. So if I'm not following up with the cameras as much, there's a reason why. Mark, what do you got?
So I'm just listening to nothing until it happens, right? I don't have to touch anything here.
You got to get the volume.
That's how you gave it to me.
So your volume button is right above your finger's right on top of it. It's a wheel. This finger. You got it.
There you go.
You got it. Right.
Not sweat better.
Okay.
This is gonna be fucking amazing.
Mine has no control on it.
No control.
You said
See?
it's all set.
Right. It's all preset.
So as of right now, you
You probably should have had that one.
So you should
Bobby and
have
Mark should
something
hang
coming
out
through.
together.
Right?
Go figure.
No, that's my fault. So,
And he hasn't had a drink all night, so just imagine, okay?
Okay, well, so you got
this is going to be an interesting group.
now.
What's that?
Should I start
taking pictures
Not with cops around. Got it? Perfect. So, I think I covered most devices. I do cover EMF a little bit more in depth at the next location with those people individually as we start getting things throughout the evening. What other major questions do we have about your devices? Jackson, how you doing over there? You got that thing?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing fine.
Okay, I figured as much.
Wait, just to clarify, you tell me when to hit this, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we're definitely near horses. They don't like the waiting system. So that's the fun part about it. Whenever you're getting a full subscription at the bottom, where it looks like
Something? Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
We're gonna start it over
Yeah.
and get a nice fresh clean slate. Reason why is it's gonna overwrite the letters, and we don't want any false positives. So if you're getting like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're just gonna turn this guy, which is the sensitivity, back about a quarter turn. So counterclockwise. So, but you're gonna control it all night long. I say
And temps on again, you're looking at for about
50 and below.
okay.
Just because of the wind chill. So, I mean, we do have a breeze out here tonight. So the ambient temperature is 68. With the wind chill, it's going to go down to about 65, 64. So I figure 50 degrees and below, we should be good.
Okay.
All right, we're going to go past the cop, and we're going to go learn some real history. You guys ready?
Yes.
Ready.
All right, let's do this.
It's so cold.
Oh, says it's 64 still.
Do you want this put on too? I got a camera on this. It's like a guessing game because it keeps spraying. I don't know. What do I do? Do you want that?
Huh?
Bro, it's so cold out here, bro.
Yeah. I thought it would be a little
I'm only
warmer.
wearing shorts, bro. The same. I guess
At least you got a sweatshirt on.
At least I got a sweatshirt on, but man, I get cold easily.
Yeah. So it's a little warmer here than at home.
Yeah. At my place, it's always just like, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Like it goes down to like 30, and then sometimes you go up to 80.
Next day it's 70. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what?
That's Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana area for you.
Next up, oh, that's our vehicle, by the way.
Ah. Parking lot. That is our car.
All right. You can. So with oh, is that where you got parked?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm getting Lizzo on my radio.
Lizzo?
Yeah. Does that mean anything? I'm
Not-
serious.
Not necessarily. I would need to know the exact lyrics.
That's what I said.
Yeah, so it's not about the artist.
She's a real bad bitch.
Yeah,
I
that's
just
probably
heard
not
that.
going to work out here at this
That's
location.
just,
Okay.
So no, you're good. That's exactly what I want you to tell me. Like he's on the right path, guys.
but
I know.
it's all the time. It's like it's in and out. Like so, mine's gonna be crazy all night, right? Just so I know, I don't want to
Because it
keep
keeps
stopping
scrambling.
you.
Yeah, it's
Why am I
what it's
holding
doing is it's literally just think of your car radio dial. It's just turning
That's
it at
what
a
I
steady
thought too. I
pace.
was like, shit, I'm just find the right station.
So
And it came a real bad bitch.
here's the thing. All night long, we're going to, each new location we go to, I have a phrase I use called know your ghost, right? The reason why I do that is because sometimes we piss off the ghost and then we get no activity. It just depends on our location. This is one of those locations where we're going to be talking about a very prominent English woman. I'll be honest with you, this was a space I was looking to retire. I change this up every year, my route anyway. So again, that way my repeaters don't see the same spaces and same devices every single time. But this location I was looking to retire because I was getting people walking in going, yo, what's up, kind of thing. And it's very disrespectful for a woman from colonial times to hear that type of language. So all activity was stopping, except for disembodied voices coming through Marc's spirit box that were basically saying, leave us the hell alone. Like those kind of mentality. So, and it's not radio chatter. I have enough software to be able to determine that it's radio chatter or not. So if somebody says, please just leave us alone, and it goes over 13 radio stations, like what I actually have, I have to pay attention to those things. So this is one of those spaces. So that real bad bitch that you heard, yeah,
Come
that's
on.
definitely not going to
No
work
way.
out here.
Someone else needs to take a turn then. I'm
No,
freaked
you're
out.
good. You're good. Yeah, I want you to continue. Part of the reason why I gave you that is so that you would actually, because I know you're going to give me every little thing that you're going to hear.
Yeah.
Some people are reluctant to do that.
I just heard the Braves game for a
Well,
minute.
that's what I
too.
said. If you hear the Braves game and we're somewhere that's like baseball-y or sports,
It's going crazy
or...
right now. I hear every station.
Yeah, I know. I listen to it every morning. So,
That's how you get your news, huh?
so welcome to a parking lot. Congratulations, you made it. Some of you are staring at your car, so because it's right behind me. So if you want to film a car, that's the one you're going to film. But anyway, what is this place? I guess first and foremost, for you communication device people, which is all the spirit boxes and the Ouija board, I'm not going to be giving you questions here like what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did over there. This is where I start withholding information on purpose, so that way you actually have a genuine experience, if that makes sense. So This place used to be the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion. Their mansion sat in the front of this space, facing East Bay Street. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across, and we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. That's the layout. Here's the story. Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 different Chucks. Yes, good job at catching that. And a lot of people don't. That's the reason why we use secondary clues and why I make the example at the beginning, because if a Charles is coming through, I need to know which one it is. Again, all 3 of them are very specific, but the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics, and we're going to move on. So, we're going to talk about Eliza. Eliza has a much better story and way more prominent, and no other tour in town, I think, actually talks about her. So let's get into it. Eliza married Charles at a young age. For those of you with spirit boxes, if you're going to ask her how old she was when she got married, don't expect numbers from colonial times when girls got married like 12 and 14. Yes, they got married around those ages, for you youngins looking around at me like, really? Today's standards, because her husband, Charles, was over double her age when they got married. Kind of a creepy age gap in the 1700s, definitely a creepy age gap now. So, she married him because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He's trying to bring all of his children home one last time so he can see them. Eliza didn't believe he was dying. So instead, she stays put, she gets married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not even a country yet, if you really think about it. So, she did marry him out of love, and there is no foul play. This was her one true love. Don't poke the bear. Now, she was correct. Dad didn't die right away. Instead, he starts sending her gifts from England to where we're standing right now. One of those gifts happens to be the plant seeds of indigo. You guys have been in town for at least a day. You've seen the word indigo in Charleston somewhere. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. Some of you are wearing it tonight because that's how we use it. When she got her seeds, she didn't know what to do with them, but she knew it was going to be profitable. So she learned from her slaves how to keep it cultivated. It's obviously not hot here all the time. When she figured it out and learned how to make the dye, she moved it to a cash crop. Then got a hold of her dad overseas and said, rice plantations are going downhill. We're going to make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. It's something absolutely unheard of, just so you know. That's the boring business shit that goes on with Eliza. I already seen the yawns coming out of Katie, so we're going to move on. I'm going to call out yawns all night long.
You got her.
Pinckney.
It's like the island out there, right? Is that the same?
And the street.
Yeah.
And the street we just met on.
Yeah.
So, we're going to talk a lot about Pinckneys because they like to pop up in my investigations in other spaces other than this location specifically. So, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go through some of the weird things that come up while we're here, and I'm going to go through each person with a communication device. So, that's the Ouija board and the spirit boxes because we're not using the digital word list tonight. So, with Riel and Bobby, have I screwed up anybody's name too badly yet?
No, you're
okay,
doing
perfect.
great.
So, again, 7 nights a week. I got to get you guys down. You're all characters to me. So you two are going to have the same set of questions because your devices work the exact same way. It's going to give us like 1 to 2 syllable terms at a time. So you guys are going to be asking what happened to the mansion. It's not here anymore. If you get a what, we normally get 2 or 3 digits of the date of the when. So it's a, hey, this happened, when did that happen kind of mentality. So again, you can either just focus on it or just listen in, or you can ask out loud. Some people are a little awkward with doing that. That's perfectly fine. There's no right way or wrong way to do this. So with yours, I want you looking for Eliza's initials specifically in order, ELP. I'm going to explain the L later on. It's part of the big mystery of Eliza. Mark.
Yes, sir.
Which ones do I want to give you?
I'm doing my best, buddy.
I'm going to give
this
you...
This shit is nonstop.
I know.
It's like I'm just turning that fucking dial, dude. You know what I mean?
If you're recording, I don't care. You're going to hear me swearing all night long, too.
Okay.
So, with your specific device, you're going to be asking about Eliza's death. She's usually pretty open about it. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral.
Wait, I got to ask all those questions?
You ask what you want to. Those are the focus questions I'm giving you.
Can we stop this coming in my ear, though, so I can focus on those questions?
You pull it in and out as you please. You're the one in charge.
Boss man.
That's fine.
You'll get it.
Here this year.
All right.
All right, what were the questions again?
How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer. So age, death,
You might have to
what?
say those like 5
I'm sorry, age, what, where, president. Age, what, where, president. You got it?
Perfect.
All right. So, the next set, which is yours, I want you to tread lightly with this one. You're going to be asking about the children. So I want you to ask how many children and what their names were specifically. Don't ask anything else. If some of you are going to cherry pick off some of the other questions because you're not getting answers, which is perfectly fine, don't tread lightly with the kids. There's a tragedy there. If we start poking the bear, all activity stops. So have we seen any numbers coming out of your two devices at all?
She has some, I don't.
What have you seen on there, Katie?
4, 5.
Okay, perfect.
Point
0.
Point.
Not good.
4.
So point.
I want the actual, like the decimal point and everything. So if you
Come
see
on,
like a
Katie.
4.1, I want to know 4.1.
Yeah, she has 0.
I got 0.4
Up to
and
1.1
0.5.
is natural from the earth. Those are irrelevant. That's why we're going straight to 2.5. When you guys are giving me numbers, you're going to escalate them. If you get a 2.5 and then let's say a 5, I don't want to know anything below that 5 at that point. Keep it growing. I don't want a whole notebook full of numbers, if you're getting my point.
So your highest number becomes the cutoff point.
Exactly. The new base.
Yeah.
So the average spike in this location from your device gen is going to be 18 to 22.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is high for most locations.
I think I got a second date update over here.
What do you got?
Some lady said hi. I'm just here to check in with this guy. Then it went out.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Here's what I'm going to tell you about your spirit boxes. 2 more things before we actually spread out of this location. I do not accept your cliches and tropes from movies like get out or you're going to die kind of mentality. That's not what's happening here. You're not going to hear the phrase get out. I'm just going to put it out there. So the other piece is that we have a lot of people asking different questions. The answers can go anywhere, including the audio from the video cameras and the audio on my voice recorder. Don't get frustrated if you're not getting a direct answer, because if Mark asks a question, Bobby might get the answer. You guys getting my point? Yeah. So again, it's going to go all over. Eliza has her choice of where she wants to go. We're going to spread out. I'm actually going to keep Danielle behind so I can show her a little bit more about that guy, and then I'm going to bounce around all of you one quick round robin to see what's going on. And again, my promise to Eliza was to not stay here for long periods of time. We're going to poke the bear a little bit, hopefully get some answers. We'll regroup back here where I give you all the answers and tell you about our next space. That's how our night's going to go all night long, just so you know.
Okay.
So again, I'm not taking you 15 to 20 spaces like most ghost tours. So again, we're hitting 5 spots. So that's it. That's how this goes. Keep mindful of the vehicles coming in and out, because that's the only entrance and
Dolly
exit.
Parton over here.
What do you get?
Dolly Parton.
I want to know what she's saying,
Yeah, where is she?
That famous song.
but I need the lyric.
Yeah.
Go to many colors.
I mean, Jolene is not a person here.
No, we'll have to go back. My bad. Keep going.
You're good. So
I'm
let's
new at
spread
this
out.
shit. I'm new at this.
I know. Some of you
Goodness.
guys suck at this at the very beginning, which is perfectly fine. You're going to get better as the night goes on.
Oh, there's a leaf in my hair.
It's a ghost.
I got
All right, spread out.
I
Have
got a
some
2.1
fun.
for a
2.1,
second, but then it went
2.5 is
down.
the
I
base.
know,
That's
okay.
why they call it ghost hunting.
All right.
They don't stand still, ever.
Yeah.
So we might find an area where we're going to get
Yeah.
spikes, but it's never like standing
Right,
still.
right,
If
okay.
you get the same number that's just holding on to it, like 2.5, and just stays there for a minute, it's something coming from something man-made.
Okay.
That's how that goes.
Okay.
All right, let's scram. Get
So I'm
yours
just
unmuted, get
looking
those video
for
cameras running. Let's
Something
do this.
that's not there, I guess.
It'll start to make noise.
Oh, I got a 2.7.
Oh my gosh, you're there.
Yeah.
Wait, am I supposed to look right here or up
So I
here?
just ask questions. Only gonna ask you questions, and that's it.
I got a
See what I'm gonna
40.4.
Holy shit.
do. What?
I've never done this. I honestly don't really. I feel like the dumpster's got some weird crap going on.
I'm gonna go by the dumpster and ask a damn question. Okay.
Nothing in the dumpster.
One. What's your name? What is your name?
Oh my gosh, Katie, there's something behind you.
Stop, hi, don't even.
Ain't seeing nothing.
You don't see anything? It's when you'll show up later that you did.
Yeah.
It's not even going up. It's 0.4, 0.5. It's high. That's cool. 12.1, 13.5. Is something near me? But mine isn't. Mine keeps going higher. Mine stays. Did you see anything near me, Tom?
Gas prices.
Did you see anything?
I've not seen anything cold yet.
Okay, it's going
I
back
was
down.
like, something behind me. It's going back down. Why is that going down?
It's the best when you go into a house and something grabs you.
What?
What you do is something grabs you.
Nope. I ain't seeing nothing.
Mine's not going up.
It's always your first instinct.
Gas prices going up.
Okay, we're gonna throw that one out. Next, what else we got?
It's all over. It's radio station. I know. Gas prices going up. That's what's clear. It's all gotta be, but that's the thing I heard clear.
Well, normally you're probably hearing a Get Upside app, so if you hear that 25 cents a gallon,
Right.
Remember, he said,
This thing just looped.
It won't go up.
Like the numbers.
And
It
what's
has
the
stayed
reading?
at 0.5.
can I take a look?
I really love motion. I really love motion.
Well, there's like a number up top.
Yeah, that's your highest thing you've done so far. So this actually has different numbers. Whenever you see an MG on there, those are the readings I'm looking for, so that's what Bonds is actually reading. So I want to make sure they're in comparison. I'm still fine with this one.
She heard Chuck.
I don't see nothing.
But that's just.
Go next to the dumpster. What's over there next to the dumpster?
All I see is humans. Nothing in there.
Are you here with me?
But they're really fast. Mine doesn't like they go away really fast.
20 what?
It's like 20.4, I think. And like you're 13.1 right now.
And it goes so fast.
I know.
So what do they do for a living? I know. So like, what does that mean? Like they're like quick?
So the electricity is moving around in the air. So in essence, I want you to think of kind of like a ball of energy.
Yeah.
And when the ghost is either manifesting or present, then there is going to be, obviously some movement. So it kind of relative, whatever, which is exactly what your device is picking up. So your cell phone would do the exact same thing, but it does it in pulses.
Okay.
So if you put your cell phone near it, you'll probably get like a 2.5 to a 3.5.
Mine's not even going up high. Like what? Oh, 3.2.
I'm getting so much cool stuff here.
Someone in the driver's seat. Mark. I'm kidding.
I'm hearing so much different shit here. You should hear this. It's crazy.
Not easy.
Trying to listen to everything between it. It's like,
Well, that's also why you have two earbuds. You can share with a person next to you to help you out.
Yeah.
So, be mindful of people walking by, Katie.
I just heard everyone
Katie, people walking by. So that's when you put your camera down.
Yeah.
everyone patient.
I just heard like
No, you were just too focused on what you were doing.
You're weird.
Am I good?
You're good now.
Do you see a person that is not with us?
Do you get the gist of that thing, buddy?
But
Okay. You're getting a lot of jumbles because of the trees. Yeah, it's a depth perception camera. So anything that's going to be,
Moving.
we're looking for those figures that are people. How's your camera coming, Ty?
I just see things that
Just
are
a
there.
cameraman until tomorrow morning,
Yeah.
so we see what you actually caught. Still waiting. That's so weird. You should have had something going on. You haven't turned the opposite way. Okay.
Whoa.
That's why you guys keep me around. We're gonna give it another minute. Rick wasn't recording with his thermal anyway this whole time, so it's back in start. It's okay. You guys are like kind of like all excited so much that you just kind of lost track of what we were supposed to be doing out here. Again, the slower the movements out of yours, the better it is, the easier it is to watch. I don't like to be near people's cars because they will be like, why are you on my car? And then we got a thermal imaging camera, which is a thief's tool to know how long a car's been sitting there. So then it just looks very suspicious. So
Mine doesn't do that.
all right. Got Bobby venturing off back there.
He can't hear. He's got his headphones in. He can't hear us. He's also talking to himself.
No, he should be.
He is.
he does that on a regular basis.
That's just normal.
Windows, and he does this right by that car over there, just so you know.
He's
And he was at like 60 degrees. Just saying.
Oh, is that bad?
It's about 68, 67.
higher than They keep saying stuff, and he's like not saying what's
Get a little
he's not
noise.
telling us what's
What is he saying? You have to tell us what it's saying. It was
He should not have had
mumbling.
His ears are so bad.
All right, we got everybody back.
actually
All right, perfect. So, I'm really only excited about two things that actually popped up, and those actually came out of Riel. So, sorry, you're another short one that I got to look for. So, in essence, and I told you her device is going to be the most accurate. So it's about 75% accurate versus the other ones that are about 50% accurate. Go ahead and mute that for us if you don't mind. So, and again, I'm going to do that all night whenever we're talking like this, if it's too distracting. So she did hear the number 45, and she did hear the name Chuck very shortly after that. So I'm actually excited about it. Not that I know that Chuck would have been a nickname back in the 1700s, but let's face it. I mean, the Charleses have been around watching us for a couple of hundred years. They may have picked up that Chuck is also short for Charles. So whenever I bring you back here, and I'll explain the number 45, and whenever I kind of wrap up a location, for those of you with video cameras, if you want to keep them running, that's on you to get the history, but you're also going to get it out of my audio pieces. But I always break out a tablet to kind of put some visuals to what we were just doing. So did we hear anything else crazy? So Jackson, Mark, you guys got anything since we last spoke? I got the windows and judges out of you, so nothing else specific.
I said when did you die? And it said May.
That is correct.
Really?
Yeah. So May 26th, if I'm not mistaken. So remind me to write the May down. So this is me excited, everybody.
Yeah.
We actually have something very specific. So and actually he got a direct answer. So he looked a little like puzzled, like that shouldn't have happened. But that's why you're here. So
You got it in your earpiece? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think you guys were all very excited when we got started with this. So that's why we kind of we missed a couple of things. So we missed the starting buttons on your records and how to listen to the spirit boxes and those kind of things. And Rich is laughing because he knows I'm pointing him out. So you don't need to huddle in. I always go around the room. This is Eliza Lucas Pinckney. So I use her maiden name, and I actually asked Danielle to watch for the ELP because this is the second wife named Eliza from Charles back to back. His first wife was also named Eliza, in case you didn't pick up on that. Her maiden name was also starting with the letter L. So Lamb was the first wife, Lucas was the second wife. So this one, the second one, was 22 years old when she married Charles, who was 45. So we got 45 and the name Chuck. So that's why I'm excited about those two things actually coming together, coming out of the same spirit box, and her not realizing what the number 45 meant, obviously, because I haven't told you yet. So definitely a creepy age gap for me because my oldest daughter is Eliza's age and I'm close to Chuck's age. So if that kind of gives you an idea why it's creepy to me. So that's why I have you guys look for those kind of specific numbers instead of the 12 and 14s. Who had the questions with the, so that was Bobby, and where's the other? Oh, actually you had those questions too because yours works the exact same way. This is the only photograph we have of the mansion. This is fire damage from the Great Fire of 1861. This happened on December 11th of 1861. If we get terms like fire, burning, blaze, we will get 2 or 3 digits out of that date, like I said. So 12, 11, 61. Obviously very specific numbers. So again, we will get them from time to time. And we have had the full date show up along with the word fire in the same evening. Every tour in town is going to tell you about a fire. We've had dozens, just so you know. This is the fire that took out the Pinckney Mansion. This is a map of Charleston. You are standing on the tiny little green dot on the right-hand side of this map. This is about $5 to $9 million worth of damage. This literally went from one side of our peninsula all the way to the other.
Then or now?
Then.
Yeah, then.
Okay.
$5 to $9 million would have been just the mansion itself today. Trust me, I've looked into buying this space so I can kind of rebuild it just to see what that would look like. We're only looking at about 22 million total, but the land is about 5 to 9. So, and there need to be an archaeological dig because they've never done one here. So I would want the artifacts to be inside my haunted Airbnb, which was in the shop inside. So that was the whole purpose of me looking into it. So the children, who had those questions? So I think those were yours. So there were 4 children grand total. So if we poke the bear and we're like, hey, what happened, with your baby or something along those lines, we get the answer 3. So we kind of have to know your ghost. So let's go over the children very quickly, and then we'll move on to the next space, and then we'll cover Elijah's death. So 4 children total. Charles, you already know about, signer of the Constitution. The next child is Thomas, fought in a Revolutionary War battle, shot in his left leg, captured by the British during the Battle of Camden. It was more like, it's okay. We're we're not going to turn it on in here either because I'm going to be talking. So in between spaces for EMF detectors, ignore your readings because the parking meters will make them go off. So again, we don't have ghosts following us around, if that makes sense. So again, in between spaces, I'll give you that heads up, and my apologies for not doing that. You guys are a very busy group, so I'm like forgetting some of the little nuances that I normally throw out there. For those of you with cameras, if you have a camera, be very discreet, point it down one direction or the other. So Ty, I want to also make sure that you and Dee do not face each other. That was another nuance that I forgot to say. Your camera can see his LiDAR technology, and it's very flashy for the guy with epilepsy. So let me kind of explain those EMF detections that we had earlier. I did not get into that. Again, you guys are very busy, so we did get a 40. Is that our highest one that we had out of that EMF detection?
40.1.
So 40.1. If you were to put that device behind your TV set that Mark now has, it'll read between 40 to 60 milligauss. We had enough electricity in that space for a brief moment that would charge your TV. Your microwave runs about 150 to 170. The highest I've ever seen that device go was at that Pinckney Mansion site that we just left at 214 milligauss. We left. Again, when I talk about safety, that's the reason why we have that device. It's mainly for my safety. I have epilepsy. I can't be in that much electricity in that much space around it. Again, it's a big trigger. We're going to parentheses. Oh, you're good.
So does that mean, like, when there's that much there, is that bad, like, bad juju from the ghost?
Not necessarily.
Could it be good?
It could be good. It's just a
It's
matter.
just bad for you.
It could
right.
be too much for me to handle.
Sure, but that it doesn't mean that it's bad if
No,
there's a whole
not
bunch.
at all. It actually, we should be filming
That
the
they're
entire.
friendly, maybe.
We should be filming to see with different types of cameras to see if anything is actually going on, because especially with Ty's camera, we would probably see some orb work coming through there. And I'm not talking like little tiny specks of dust. I'm talking orbs bigger than my head coming through. So the biggest orb I've ever caught.
I'd like 200 there, you're saying.
Yeah, around that 200 to 300 mark. So I don't know that I've ever seen it go above 214. No, that's been my highest. I have seen it go to 197 at another location. That was actually inside of a building. So I got my base readings from the whole building. I was at the St. Augustine Lighthouse, and it was the lighthouse keeper's home. So we had a 197 in there. I left the room and came back in. It went right back to a 197 and dropped down to like less than 10.
So no camera though either.
So that was a weird instance, and we can talk more about that as we.
That's okay.
But I'm just talking the EMF readings. I like to give you guys a detection of why that 40 was so exciting back at the Pinckney Mansion site. So again, I told her the baseline was going to be over 25 at that location because I do a point system on your guys' investigation to see how active it actually was for you. So you guys are going to see all that in your analysis tomorrow. We're going to talk about that later. So where the heck are we? Sorry, I don't dress up in costume, but this is how a paranormal investigator actually dresses. So,
we're definitely getting ripped off.
Dude, so let me just tell you real quick. My prices are the way they are to keep the hecklers out. So you have to imagine with what I do for a living, I was getting a lot of hecklers. So, I mean, like, Mark is nothing compared to the things that I was getting.
What is that supposed to be?
But you just came in jokingly, automatically. So, I mean, you weren't making fun of me or
I was trying to make
anything.
you feel comfortable too, bud. I thought we were on the same
This is
team.
like a we're good.
You're Ohio people. He's from Ohio.
You made us comfortable, Mark.
So, yeah. So,
He's
I
a
mean,
Youngstown.
yeah, I'm a Youngstown guy. Well, I don't like to admit that, but
And
that's
you're a
what
big time TV guy too. Those people aren't.
I'm not on TV.
Oh, I thought you were.
We can
Maybe
pretend
that-
we're on TV
Yeah, let's
if you want to.
start from there.
But I will tell you, like, Mark, I'm not.
Oh, God, I thought this was our group.
No, go up there with the fake group. I let her know. Dude, I thought you said you were the best. I let her know. My bad. My bad.
I don't know.
Now let's listen to the ghost now. Here we go. Hey, dude, I'm here. I'm here with you. I'm here with you.
I almost want to hug you, right?
I don't give a
I
shit.
feel a book coming
I don't
on.
give a shit
A
about
book just
them.
about us.
Or
at least
the
in a
tears, right? You
chapter.
getting the tears? So,
I don't give a shit about that. Let's go. I'm here for this tape.
Don't do that right now.
that's hysterical. Okay. All right, back to business. Let's see if I can not laugh through this now. We're supposed to be talking about a creepy duel. So, by all means, dude, smoke, you're not bothering me none. But anyway,
Sorry, do you mind?
no, not at all. I
do.
I smoke in between spaces, so I don't know if you guys
Would
caught
you
on
like
that,
one?
but the mist that's coming up on your
No,
camera
not
is not
that
coming
mist.
from, a ghost. It's vape, just so you guys
Would you
know.
like one?
No.
Okay.
I'm good. So, this place is called Philadelphia Alley. It used to be called Duelers Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur for the city of Charleston. So I say some because dueling was illegal and they had to find their spot. So Every ghost tour comes down here tells the exact same story. It is a staple for every ghost tour. But you're not on a campfire marshmallow ghost tour, so I can make fun of them on audio. It's just funny when my guests do it for me. But at any rate, so I give you a lot more detail because you're ghost hunting. Remember, we're only here to stir shit up. So here's how the story goes. There's a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So if the Spirit Box people that actually have earbuds in their ears are listening right now and you hear the song Brown Eyed Girl, it is not coincidence. It is actually part of his name. So that's the kind of things that you're looking for. So your device, by the way, Danielle, this is the location of why we actually bought that device, and I'm going to get into that in just a moment. So anyway, Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove that he's not after her money. So the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. It wasn't a good start to his stay here. But somebody was walking by, seeing what was about to happen. His name was Ralph Isaacs. This is where I stop and explain the Ouija board device. Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor came from, Rhode Island, Ralph Isaacs. RI was showing up on regular spirit boxes, like what Jackson's using. So we were getting that out of a DJ, and I wanted to know, can we get it out of a lettering system? So that's the reason why I purchased that device. We've actually had the letters DR come up, and then RI right after it. So Dr. Rhode Island. So again, these are the things that show up with that specific device. Is there something going on that I need to know?
No, but it was going back and forth because our initials are D and R, and I just thought that was kind of cool because we're all D's and we're all R's, but that kept coming up.
Interesting.
D and R.
Where at? Here?
No, when we were walking.
They know we're coming. I do this every night, so I'm not surprised that DR showed up on our way here. And it could be relevant to you, that somebody you brought with you, but I'm going to call it right now close to the doctor. So.
Okay.
So anyway, back to Dr. Ladd. Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. This guy's going to try to kill you. So why don't you come with me to 59 Church Street, and you can rent a room, and you can. There's somebody coming, so be careful with your camera. So I don't know what that guy dressed up for, but wow. Anyway, come with me.
Different tour.
I know.
Different tour.
59 Church Street.
Stay
the number
focused.
59 shows up here all the time, just so you know. So he rents the room, and him and the doctor become friends. The longer the doctor stays here, the more money he's making. He's proving his point that he's not after Amanda's money. Is he coming back again?
No.
Oh.
You sure that's not the doctor, is it?
He's just standing there.
I don't know. Well, let's not stare at him. Let's get back to work. So, poor guy. That's exactly what we wanted to do. He's making a lot of money at this point because he started his medicine practice down here. Amanda gets wind that he's making his own money, so she's coming down so they can get married. Dr. Ladd's pretty happy about this. He becomes known as the Whistling Doctor. Here's what I'm going to tell you about whistling ghosts. Every haunted city will have one. It's a cliche. We all do. But there's actually proof of this one. We're going to get into it. So, Ralph and the doctor go see plays together, but they can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's the hierarchy. So, they talk about these plays on the way home. One night they go see Richard III, and they're arguing over the new actress that was in town. Dr. Ladd thought the new actress was great. Ralph didn't. The argument turns into Ralph insulting the doctor's fiancée, Amanda, back home in Rhode Island. It gets really ugly, and they go their separate ways. Told you Ralph has friends here. He goes to the newspaper, puts an ad in the paper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society, sir, kind of mentality. Doctor saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dueler's Alley. We're going to settle this shit, and somebody's going to die. Over an argument about an actress is how this all got started, by the way. Wow. So they came down, they took their 10 paces, they turned, the doctor pointed his gun in the air, and he shot. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight. But Ralph has his one bullet. He puts it in the kneecap on the doctor. Dr. Ladd doesn't die, but he drops to the ground. His friends picked him up, took him home to 59 Church Street, where he dies 10 days later after refusing medical treatment. We should also keep in mind that this is 1786. Gunshot wounds back in 1786 were a lot different than they are now. He refused the medical treatment because he's a doctor. He probably just tried to bleed out the lead poisoning himself. So, no matter what version of the story you read or hear, it's always November 2nd of 1786 of the date that he died. That's what's on the man's tombstone. So, every ghost tour tells you to listen for the whistles while you're down here. Here's the thing. We're running 3 video cameras and my audio right now. You don't need to listen. So, it's all going to be on the recording if it'll be there. However, we're also using spirit boxes. The word whistle has shown up Hello, rat friend.
Jesus Christ, I just got a rat on my foot. What the fuck does that mean?
It means there was a rat on your foot.
All right, cool. This thing was still 0, but when you said it was there. Definitely there. What the fuck?
It actually came right out, went right between Ty's foot, and went
Right
right
over my legs. My foot. Sorry, everybody. That's an extra.
That's an extra. So, but the whistles, back to that. We will get parts of, like, the whistling part of a song as well. So it's not like I search for these things. They just happen. So, again, if you're going to try this on your own and, like, walk through the whole alley, I can't take you all the way through. And I'm going to explain why, because I've actually been kicked out of here. And I'm going to get to that. That's the fun part of the story. But if it's on your phone, just keep in mind every local knows this story. Anybody walking up and down Cumberland or Queen Street throws a whistle down the alley. I do it every night. We passed my garage on the way here. I have to go past the alley to get to my car. And ever since I got kicked out of here is when I actually throw the whistle. Here's how this story goes. And look, our man with the hat has disappeared. He must have been a ghost. Dear God. Crazy.
It was the rat ghost.
It was
Rack.
He brought the rat. It's the Pied Piper. Holy shit, everybody. We caught him. Mother Goose is real. So, Bobby's like, who is this guy? Why did we sign up with him? He's just laughing silently the whole time back there, just so everybody knows. This alley didn't go all the way through this way. There was a wall there. The reason why, I'm sorry, I bumped you. The reason why is because this is where they kept the livestock for the city. So it was called Cow Alley before it was Dueler's Alley. So that means the bricks on that side of the alley are older than this side. Those bricks are sun-dried bricks from slave children. There's one full handprint from a slave child down there and fingerprint swipes. When I first started doing this, my route was to go all the way through the alley. However, I treat that handprint the same way I do a grave. That kid is not staring at that brick in the afterlife. So, November 26th of 2020, I remember the date, yes, very specific. My entire group is huddled around that brick, waiting for something to happen. I know nothing's going to, so I'm trying to shoo them along, also out of respect that it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. So, I decided, I didn't know I was out of bounds. The new owner of the mansion came out screaming. Again, very new at this, and he starts yelling at me. My daughter thought it was great because she was on the tour, and Dad's getting yelled at. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't tour on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly for Walmart. Y'all know now why I don't work Thanksgiving. The next day was November 28th. I talked to my partner that I had at the time, and I told him what happened. And he basically said, dude, you can't go down that far. You can only go down halfway or reroute the group. So I decided I'm going to reroute the group. But what I told that group is I don't believe in the next story because I've never had anything happen there. I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. So I didn't tell them who we were going to be investigating, but somebody heard the name Anne on a spirit box before we left. And I went, well, shit, we'll see what happens. We're going to be investigating Anne Bonny next. So we get down there, and I told what little bit I did know about Anne Bonny and pirates in Charleston, which was very little, because again, don't know much at the time. Somebody else heard the number 300. I don't know what that means. I write it down. I research it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020. Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. The 300-year anniversary is when we started going there. So, I will tell you once we get up there, everything we're going to be talking about is based off of pirate lore. But as the master's degree in creative writing, I can put a story together, and everything we're going to discuss came from a minimum of 2 resources. So I will kind of let you know if something is a little off, especially with dates and numbers and ages and whatnot. But it is a hit or miss location. The hopes is that Anne is going to be there at the same time we are. This is an active ghost here in the alley. So with Dr. Ladd, we're going to get lots around that. So I do have to write down the DR from the Ouija board. But once we get up there, we may get bleed over from here. So keep that in mind as well. It's another kind of popular area because there's a lot of stories around that corner. We're just going to stay out of everybody's way. But we will be able to spread out and investigate. Granted, there won't be any cars in that parking lot from it being Good Friday, and it is a church parking lot. I'll explain why we're there once we get there. But again, it is a very cool location when things do start to happen. So with video cameras, I would say once we exit this alley, go ahead and cut them off and give them a break, and we'll get up to our next space and get into our tight little corner to get the history started and kind of spread out. Before we leave, by the way, this gate behind me, there's a reason why it's here. Remember that the alley didn't go all the way through this way? This is where my job gets really fun with the research and piecing things together. That means if there was a duel and there was an actual loser, like a dead guy, this was the shortcut to get to St. Philip Cemetery on the other side of this wall. Otherwise, they'd have to go all the way down to Queen Street with a dead body and wrap around dragging him along so that way they could go celebrate the winner. This was much quicker to go do that, to go get a pint, if you're getting my point. So the wrought iron wasn't there, but the archway definitely was. There is also rumors, somebody told me one night, and I've heard this on more than one occasion, that Andrew Jackson also had a duel in this alley. I have yet to find any proof of it, but I have been researching it to see if they say that part of the bullet hole of where it went off is actually in one of these bricks somewhere. So I've been doing a lot of research to try to find that. I just can't find anything yet. So to me, it's like myths, legends, and lore kind of mentality. So I research all of that shit to make sure whatever we're talking about is legit. So any other crazy questions about duels? All right, we're gonna go actually out the way we came, and our hat guy's gone. The Pied Piper is missing. So
I saw him walk by. I don't know why there was a dude dressed in all.
Pretty cold.
That was just a guy.
He was just dressed up.
He was just having after dinner smoke, Dave.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
Used to be a stop sign there.
here, should have brought my hoodie with me. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, you just got in it.
Oh, that sucks for you.
I figured you did. That's why you're being told to do it. I also gave you the spirit box. So I did that on purpose when you started telling me about your gear. Yeah, you still got my idea. When we do a double blind, it's way more productive. So you guys are both going to be blind together at the same time, and you're not going to know any of the history of the space that we're trying to contact. So that way you can tell us whatever you're hearing and see if it's going to be in response to questions that can be asked.
Yeah? No. No. Dude, some weird juju's happening on this thing. Well, I pointed in that corner. I don't know if it's anything but like the line. Like from over there, I pointed in the I don't know, the lines didn't mean anything, or you can kind of see it right now, but.
So it probably means that your infrared is probably dying, like the light itself. So what we're going to do is, because I know the camera will stay charged for the rest of the duration, we're going to make sure we don't get those lines anymore by plugging this guy in.
Okay.
So that should go away in about 2 or 3 minutes.
All right, thank you.
There you go. Okay. Where was that? If you can repeat it, it's coming from something there.
They're more scared of you. They're more scared of you than you are of them.
I was hoping that the breeze wouldn't really be against this wall, but it is.
Hold on.
Potato chip.
Up in this
You do it.
these I do want back, just so you know, but I do want you to kind of get used to these. You pull them down like this, and then once you, because you're going to be blindfolded when we hand these to you, get used to how they feel. So once you put them over your head, you may have to pull them down a little bit. So Riel, I'll hand those off to you so you can help them, and Jackson, I'll sit yours next to you. So you guys are getting the gist of how this experiment works, right? Like they're not going to know shit, and then we're going to come back and see what they're going to be able to tell us. So I'll explain more because I'm going to have to give you guys a few tips when we come back. But you guys can just chill here. We're only going to be gone for like 5 minutes. I'm going to take them over to that bus over there and tell them the history while the 4 of you kind of stay here and won't know anything. So just have a nice ghosty conversation. The rest of you come with me this way.
All right, Jackson. Shoot over.
And should I have this on?
That is definitely lighter. Like nothing. Yeah, so we're here because of this guy. So the first time I came here, remember, I don't always want to know what's going on up front. I just kind of wait to see what happens, and this was an experiment. I only had 2 people that night. It was supposed to be cold because Katie's freezing to death. But I told them people, it's November now, and it's after Halloween, which is when I changed this. Look around, guys. There's a million monuments. I didn't know what to find, but I know every ghost tour comes through here for some reason. They're not coming here for the reason we are. So what we heard was the year 1828, the name Henry, and then I used a word generator app, and the name Tim showed up on that. This is Henry Timrod, born in 1828. So it was kind of like we have all 3, hot damn, I got my ghost. So here's how his story goes, very brief. He was sick through most of his life. Obviously being born in 1828, he's old enough to go fight in the Civil War. He goes out to the battlefield fighting for the Confederates, and his comrades realize he's too sick to fight. So they say, why don't you go home, dude? Go be the voice of the war. They knew he was a writer and a poet. Come home and write about what's going on out here. Go tell the world. So he comes home and he starts writing about the war. He becomes known as the Laureate of the Confederacy. For us writers, that's a pretty prestigious title. So, pretty big deal. A few years after he comes home, he has a son. You guys are going to know the son's name, his birthday, and how old he was when he died? They're not. His name was Willie. He was born on Christmas Eve, and he died 9 months later, on October 23rd. So he was only 9 months old when he passed away. So, very specific name that we've actually had pop up. But after, obviously, his son's very tragic death, he's still mourning. A couple of years go by, he's still mourning and not writing as much as he should be for the newspaper that he's working for. His college buddy sees this and says, come out to my cottage in Columbia. Come out here and finish working on the piece you're supposed to. Leave the wife, Katie, behind with her parents so she can mourn by them. So he goes out there. It's where he writes his last words. Beholder of brief mortality. And then he coughs, and it lands on the page in a blood stain. That blood stain, well, by the way, he had tuberculosis, if you didn't figure that out. So that blood stain actually looks like a man writing over his desk. So we call it the Blood Book here in Charleston, and they show it 1 day a year on Halloween at the Charleston Library Society. You have to be a member of the society to be able to see the book live, but the internet is beautiful. I'm going to show you what the page looks like, so that way you kind of get the gist of it. And then we're going to go see what we can actually stir out of these guys. You're going to see that I'll explain a little bit further to them because I'm going to be talking to them as if they are Henry. So that way they are just going to be spouting off whatever they hear.
I messed up my thing. Got scrambled.
I'll fix it. This is the Blood Book. So you can see Beholder of Brief Mortality. There's the blood stain at the bottom.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy ending for us,
Right?
Yeah. So I used to end with the pirate story, which was a big thing, and I came up with this, and I was like, oh shit, there's a lot going on here. I will also tell you that this guy is a very shy, introverted writer. He was known to be a short man. He had a very distinctive mustache. For those of you old enough to know who Raleigh Fingers is, kind of picture that mustache. So again, there's going to be certain things I may ask about depending on what they're saying. I'm going to be using what they're saying to continue the questioning. This is also an okay situation to ask yes/no questions because they don't know what I'm asking. So again,
you're going to have them tell us all about what you just told us about, kind of.
I'm hoping he's going to be able to answer questions based on what we just learned about.
He said it could either be great or
it can either be
that's okay.
Yeah. But the experiment itself is so much fun.
This is how you get 5 stars, dude, right here. Let's do it.
Now, with this, kind of investigation, it's going to be a little disorienting for them. So I'm going to have to give them a few tips at first. So bear with me as I kind of walk them through this. Also, we're going to have to crowd them. I don't want the other tourists to see what the hell I'm doing to these kids out here. So again, even when I have adults blindfolded, it doesn't look good. So just kind of picture what it looks like if you're just passing by on a regular tour and like, what the hell they got going on. I say shy introverted writer because it normally takes Henry at least a few minutes to start getting used to us. So again, just kind of keep that in mind, and I give them usually 30 seconds to a minute just to get acclimated, because it's very disturbing. Some of you actually heard what those sound like. So let's go see what we can find out about this guy. Oh yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Well, we won't pick that up in the well, you will later on, so you got to give me a minute on that one.
Yeah.
All right, so. Well, hang on. Let's kind of walk through a couple of things first. Guys, let's crowd around, and you got your red light on. On the face of yours. A couple of things. Did you guys figure out that they're not over your head? You have to tear them?
Oh, you have to
Nope, right here in the center. Right here in the center. Let me help you out. So now you got two loops that go over your ears.
Oh. Okay, bet.
Try not to screw up anybody's hair.
Did you just mess up?
I didn't do that, so.
No, he figured it out. He's got it.
Alright.
All right, don't put them on yet. So, first off, we're going to keep you guys under for 10 minutes. So that's usually the max. I will be keeping an eye on your breathing. So I'm going to be basically looking at your chest heaving up and down. If you guys get a little too excited, we will have you being tapped out. So in a nutshell, the person that's sitting next to you is going to touch your leg. I'm going to refer to that person to touch your leg. That means take off your headphones and pull off your blindfold. So that means you're getting too excited, and it can get disorienting underneath there. With you guys being under for 10 minutes, it's not going to feel like 10 minutes by the time we tap you out at 10. It might feel like 1 or 2. You also might be a little dizzy when you come out of this. So do not get up once we pull off those blindfolds for you. Those of you with the video cameras, especially yours, Ty, I want footage. So this is something, like, I don't take notes here. So you guys are going to have to review. I may write a few things down that stand out that are obviously relevant to the questions we're going to be asking. But obviously the 4 of you don't know anything. The rest of everybody else does. Again, just keep in mind that this particular camera, you can probably see all the dots on here, so don't face your camera at him. No, you're good facing it that way.
Okay.
Just don't point it directly at his lens.
Okay.
So got the point of that. So here's how this is going to go. Once you guys get your earbuds in, just put your hands out, and then the person next to you will hand you the headphones or help you put them on. So let's do blindfolds first.
So you have to put these in?
Second. I need to see your spirit box for just a second. Here's the reason why. I'm actually going to stop the recording and start a new one.
It's dark in here.
So that way, whatever we get from here, like your second recording will be just as
Hope so.
Yeah, just like the...
What does
the
one will
session
do?
with
Make
the
it
video.
bright?
Did you speed this thing up?
Yeah, speed it up a little bit. So
I'm going to put it down at 2.
the 2...
Just to try to get more. Also, if you hear yes, no's out of there, it's perfectly fine because I may ask yes, no questions.
My camera's
Because you
on
guys
one
aren't gonna
dot.
know what we're asking.
Oh.
Why is this guy not working? Not yet. 1 second. Tap the too So as far as the spirit boxes,
Why are you
make
raising
sure
your hand like we're in class?
hang on. I want to make sure like 2 spirit boxes are not near the hands of the people being blindfolded, so that way the other person is controlling the volume to make sure there's no cheating and knowing the questions that we're asking. Is that fair to everybody? Okay, so the volume for you is right here. It'll give you the thumbs up or thumbs down when it's comfortable. All right, let's get those noise canceling headphones. Yeah, put your earbuds in, Dario.
You have to control the volume for him.
Yep.
Real.
She's got to get them covered up first. Oh, Justin. It's the wheel at the... Oh, no, his doesn't have a control, so you don't have to worry about that. Yep, you can leave yours. He can pull it down. He'll adjust them where he's comfortable with that. All right. So, this is the only thing I time with us, too, by the way. It's 11:19. No, we're okay without that one right now. So focus on your spirit box. So it's 11:19. I'm going to give them about a second. Oh, I also told them they don't need to shout. If one of them starts shouting, because normally people will shout with headphones on, we're going to tap them out and tell them to like whisper.
And I'm just make sure I'm supposed to do what now?
Nothing. Just as long as he's got volume, we're good. Okay.
I don't got volume yet.
No, we'll turn him up.
This is ours.
So let's get him some volume.
Have a downhill.
So that's the piano.
It's like he's whispering to himself.
It's a wheel.
Keep going. Stop.
All right, now we're at 11:20.
3-6.
3-6.
Walking.
I have two people here that can actually hear you. So we're going to be asking a series of questions like I normally do. We'll start off with something simple like, what was your job? Does he realize he's supposed to be telling us what he's hearing?
What do you hear, Charlie?
He can't hear you.
I don't know if he knows it was. He's supposed to
Yes, he
I
does.
couldn't
He
tell.
knows what this is. Right.
There you
Right.
go, see? He did or something. Okay, now that we know that they both can hear things. Henry Timrod, I want you to tell me what your job was. But he actually said the word write, by the way. What is your job? This guy was a writer. I don't know.
Then he said David.
I don't know who that is, but he keeps popping up on my Twitter.
Okay.
I've been researching this guy for weeks. Little bastard keeps jumping in. All right, Henry. Thank you for the word right. I appreciate that. Why don't you tell me what your wife's name was? Can you tell us what your wife's name was?
Stay with us.
I'm staying with you. I'm not going anywhere. I want you to tell me what your wife's name was.
Resting.
Okay? Her name. We know she's passed already. Can you tell us what her name was? Both of these gentlemen can hear you. It's not easy. Like, I'm telling you. Like, I know you guys were laughing, but he is going through a lot right now. Like, that is not an easy thing to do. Henry Timrod, please tell us the name of your wife. Okay, we're going to move on. Why don't you tell us maybe the year you were born? What is your birthday? Give us the numbers inside your birthday. I'll take
Symptoms.
Oh, you want to go straight into how you died? Maybe give us some of those symptoms. What were those symptoms?
This camera's making it flash.
About 3 minutes. Henry, tell us more about how you died. Give us the word symptoms. What were they? Not to mention, Dario actually hasn't listened to one of these all night long. Henry, we're already 3 minutes in. You know we only listen for 10 minutes. You got to give us something here. I asked you a few questions so far. What was your birthday? Talked about your illness, your wife. What do you want to tell us? Anything going on with that Ouija board down there?
5.
I heard baby.
So, and your son. What was your son's name? Tell us something about him. I know his birthday. I know how old he was. Why don't you tell us to confirm? Is he breathing pretty heavy? Can you hear him?
Oh, he's stuffing.
Okay.
He's been
Yeah,
stuffing
he's
all
fine.
night.
Good thing he keeps his blankets. I don't want to snot that. Alright, Henry. Come on. Anything you want to tell us? We've asked a lot of questions here. These gentlemen are listening to you. And they're going to
Inside here,
decide here what?
0.
Need more specifics. More specifics, Henry. I know it usually takes you a few minutes to get started.
Last minute.
We are a little late tonight, aren't we?
Listen, 418.
Mark is getting nervous.
I don't understand.
He's biting his nail.
I don't know what 418 is referring to. Can you give us a little bit more about that? That's something I'm not familiar with. Is that your wife's birthday? He's only given us 2 words. And half of them were accurate. So, and if you really think about it, he's only given us 2 words, and what was your job? He gave us right. Henry Timrod. How many people are also here? Who else is blocking you from giving us answers? Henry, let's talk more about your writing. What kind of writing did you do? What style of writings did you do? He's hearing things. I can see him shaking his head. He's second guessing himself a little bit.
I understand.
Hearing, no matter how silly it is. Henry, who else is here? I know all the monuments that are in here, so it'd be interesting if they give us the name of another monument. Henry, who else is here with you? Or you can tell me how many other spirits are here with us.
Yes.
Come on, Dario, give us something, buddy. So far, he's been the only accurate person. Watch, he's going to grow up to be a professional at this later on. Henry Timrod, we're running out of time. 8 minutes. We only go 2 more minutes. What do you want to tell us that would prove to us that you're actually here? We can hear you. He's going to come out and tell us the whole damn story. You watch. Henry Timrod.
Thank you.
15.
Still.
Henry, can you tell us what we're hearing right now from the church? What did we just hear from the church?
Ronald.
He's shaking his head.
He's hearing things.
Because he's probably been
He's processing what he's hearing.
not saying.
What did we just hear from the church? You've spelled it out for us before on the Ouija board. You want to try it over there again? If you don't want to talk to us through the boxes with the lights? You've actually had the word bells being spelled out as they were going off on your Ouija board. Told you, shit can go anywhere.
Control.
Henry, you know I'm going to call it here in about 30 seconds, so give us whatever you want us to know. Jackson's a little congested too. Sure, I picked the snotty kids. Let me see. Alright, I'm going to call it. Let's go ahead and tap their legs. Back. Alright, where are you? What were you hearing in there?
It was like only like the radio.
Yeah, I wanted you to hear the radio.
You hear it?
So did you hear any specific words that stuck out?
I heard Ronald. That's what I heard.
We heard you. He only gave us 2 terms. Here's the thing. Both of those terms were kind of relevant. The first one definitely, but the second one, I don't know who it is. You gave us the name David. David keeps popping up in my last 2 locations. I have no idea who this guy is. I've been researching like crazy. He keeps popping up. I can't even find my own family member's name David in my lineage. But you did give us the word right. That was the first thing you gave us. Do you know what question we asked? Of course you did. You had to about that. We asked what Henry Timrod's job was. He was a writer. Probably about 10 to 15 seconds after we asked that. You gave us very specific numbers. The 418 kind of stuck out to me. 15 stuck out to me. I don't know who Ronald is. I'm going to dive into it. But those other numbers look like dates or ages to me. So I'm going to be looking into some of the dates of the family members. Of course, I have to keep you 4 behind to give you the history of what I've already told them. So here's what's going to happen while you guys sit and get your guys. Like, how long did you think you were under, by the way?
Dude, I felt like I was in there forever.
Wait,
Really?
How did you feel like it?
Yeah.
Since you put those things under your eyes, you out? How'd you go out? Like do this?
I was just sitting there and I was just listening. It just felt like I was listening to music.
So the whole point of this is normally when you take away one of your senses, another one heightens. So we take away the vision and outside noises of you guys only using one earbud all night long, then that kind of really focuses both ears on what's actually happening. It can just, because there's so much static in there, it can be very disorienting. That's why I say don't get up right away, because I've seen people get up and they look like a baby giraffe. And I'm like, they're going to fall down. So again, that's why you're just going to stay seated while I give you guys the history. You guys are going to take, quick laps around here and then come back and see us. But the EMF detection, we have gotten over 100 with your specific device. So it's normally in a grassy knoll. So I basically want you to hit all the grassy areas and see where it's at tonight, because it's never the same. Nope, you shut it off.
No, it's good on 0 all the time. When you flip it over, I had it off so much.
I turned off the flashlight. All right, you guys take a lap. I'm going to give them the history so they know what they were actually working with, and then just come back and see us after 1 lap. It's a pretty big space, so nice slow movements out of your cameras. You guys get it. All right, so basically,
Dude, I'm getting weird vibes.
Holy shit, that was weird.
And the cool thing is, we got it all on video for you too. So you guys will have the videos.
Man, my nose was stuffed the whole time doing it.
Let's get everybody ring.
All right.
Children? Children?
Is Katie 16?
She's 15.
15.
I'll take your cam. Go ahead and hit the stop button.